Pogba leading from Rashford, he strikes. Oh, it's a goal! Staying on his feet this time. Look, they went for Martial! Lovely touch by Fernandes. Cavani! Rashford all the way across goal. What a finish!
Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United. Guys, we're here today doing the unenviable task, or the unenviable job of having to still turn up here while we know 11 players didn't turn up today. Alright? But we still have to turn up and give our assessment, our thoughts, rant a little bit on, what took place 7:30 this morning. And, talking before we went live here, people made sacrifices to watch the game, and as fans, we demand answers. We want more. So Greg on the inside, good having you back. Anderson on the inside, good having you guys.
Good to be back.
And Big Phil as usual. What's up, fellas? How we going so far? We okay?
Don't ask me how I'm doing. Don't.
Volcano Big Phil is about to erupt. Now we're going on there right now.
Don't ask me how I'm doing.
So Phil, without saying it, he expressed how we going, right? So Greg, how you doing, buddy?
Bro, I mean, like you, I really kind of had to take a breather after that game because, hey, that was frustrated. That was very frustrating. No two ways about it. Shocking, absolutely shocking.
Yeah. Anderson, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm in the same kind of boat as accidentally. It's basically, to me, like a 2 weeks haze, like 2 weeks of poor performances. It's not like if it's one game, it's back-to-back games, and then it's basically, if you want to say 3 games in the last 3 or the 4 games was absolutely poor. Even the last 4 games was absolutely poor. They may have won one of them, but it's like I can't say what's going on. I have no, it's like I don't know what to say.
Wow. So let's just get some guys who on the comments on the inside. We'll just recognize them. David, Jesus Akshaw, Richard, King Unruly, Pri, and Riyadh. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining with us. And Riyadh here going in on the Juju boss. Jody, you're going to respond to Riyadh here. He's saying, where the Juju boss who belly yellow like that?
Wow.
But guys, so we wanna get into this review and to the mix of what took place today, the events that unfolded earlier today. Another disappointing performance, and that performance led to our first defeat of the Premier League campaign. Now, while our away form remains intact, and that's the straw trying to grasp for, right? The performance today and the result, it doesn't excuse Ollie, the away form, that we haven't lost in how long, it doesn't excuse Ollie and his staff, nor the players, from the many questions, that, we as fans asking, you'll hear the media, you'll hear the pundits, every damn body. What going on, fellas? What going on? What really going on? And so I know you all have a lot to say, but let's look at where it all started. Team selections, our thoughts when we saw the team sheet, and then we could get into the game and we could talk about why Phil can't even watch the camera yet, right? But before I go to Greg, because I will let Greg start up everything, I just want to recognize some other people who are on the inside, and we really do appreciate, the views, the comments, but don't forget to like the video as well, right, guys? And share it as well. Simeon is on the inside. Thanks for joining, buddy. Saying great bounce back from the West Ham game. Wow, sarcasm loud, buddy. Where we bouncing next? Villarreal? Comedian on the inside. Devindra, welcome, buddy. Thanks for joining. Saying good night. Good night to you.
Everybody got jokes tonight, man. Everybody got jokes.
I am Trini. Pressure in the camp. Thanks for joining, buddy. How you doing? Good night to you too. Thanks for joining. Jesus saying, guys, I'm looking forward to your analysis here. I couldn't see the game and still didn't get to the highlights. All right. At your own risk. Watch those highlights at your own risk, my boy.
Herodian.
They've been just saying, when you said draw weekend, we would have, yeah, I'd take a draw. And I think it's Simeon who did say the draw, Big Phil.
Don't ask me how I'm doing. Don't.
Okay, gotta really appreciate Ole out. Watch me, we don't start. Joselle, good night, buddy. Thanks for joining. David saying that's why we don't get penalties because we miss them. I mean, oh gosh.
Whoa. That's a stretch. That is a stretch.
Anderson saying, Richard saying, Anderson, I see you have the young supporter there, 100%, man. And
yeah, bring them up right.
Yeah. Joseph saying, thanks for the loss, Ollie, with that shit tactics. Greenwood for being extremely selfish and greedy, and Bruno for rushing to take every free kick and penalty. And Jody here, thanks for joining, Jody. He's saying he's responding to Riyadh here, right here. Yeah, I have a dull belly, but enough is enough. And finally, Peter. Hey, Peter, thanks for joining, buddy. Let's get going. Greg.
I could have tell everybody that was basically going to be the lineup we saw today. I mean, the usual suspects were back in their usual positions as seen. The whole back force picked itself. McFred was back. The horror. But, everybody else was just basically looking like, you think you're right. Ronaldo's up top. Greenwood's on the right. Pogba's on the left. Bruno's in the center. You think you're right. This team could probably at least get 3 or 4 goals out of this. And we could see how everything holds. But unfortunately, it seemed that everything that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had prepared, Dean Smith was ready to counteract with his own tactics. Now, when we look at the statistics throughout the game, the statistics will tell you that we had 60% possession. We had 28 shots. I think what about 4 of them on target? So it goes to show that, you watch that whole procession and you say to yourself, that doesn't tell the whole story, because there were intervals where Aston Villa looked more comfortable on the ball than us, and we are at home. That in itself is a damning factor, if nothing more. So to see that take place, and then, I don't want to just summarize the whole game in its entirety, because I know we wanted to probably split it up. But if you're looking at it from the perspective of Eric Ramsey is the defensive coach who is helping us to learn how to structure ourselves when it comes to defending set plays, because we conceded too many goals from set plays last season. The very thing that we were trying to improve on is the very thing that we concede on. I don't know what transpired there. Cavani is not the quickest person to go and ask to defend a corner, and then on top of that, you have Ollie Watkins basically kind of screening De Gea. A lot of people are saying that goal should have not stood. So it's in essence, even though those factors came into play, it's still inexcusable for the performance overall. You would expect Manchester United to get more goals out of this, and then of course the decision of making a Mason Greenwood was another thing that came into play. Certain chances, you had an opportunity to square for Ronaldo or Bruno. You decide you want to get greedy, you see your name in lights. It wasn't good, and I think these guys have to really take a time to really evaluate themselves before Wednesday, because the tide is going to turn. That's all I have to say.
All right, but anything specific with the team sheets, Greg? Any doubts that you had going into the game when you saw it released?
Honestly, it's like I keep telling people, it's like all he knows why he picks those certain players, because he knows they do a job for him. And it's not like in previous meetings with Aston Villa, those players haven't done what was needed. It just seemed like today, it seems like there was the hangover from the West Ham defeat was looming large over everybody, because it was probably still in the atmosphere at Old Trafford and spilled into the first team, because you saw a performance that was lethargic and completely complacent when it came to expecting certain things, because you look at certain players, you would figure Scott McTominay would have been more of an ever present. He almost looked non-existent on the field. Bruno looked off. Pogba looked off. Ronaldo was a passenger for most parts of the game. Because most people were looking to see if they could get the ball to him, and they were contacted. So I don't know. I'm thinking to myself that these guys would have been enough to do what was doing, but for some reason everybody was off today.
All right. Thanks for that. Let me just get some comment before I come to Anderson, right? I see Jody and Rayad having the thing off on the comments. So let's go through, fellas. They've been just saying not blaming players, but if players squared the ball or played the reserve pass, Greenwood, Bruno, and Pogba, the result would have been easily 3-up. And I think, Gregory, you had said that,
No,
right?
you notice the contradiction there, right? He says he's not blaming players, but he just names 3.
Well, I guess he trying to say I don't want to go in too hard on the players, but Josel's saying teams like this are to secure the 3 points and goal average, but yet still his tactics are proven horrible time after time. So every week he wanna come with a big caption, we'll bounce back. Yeah. Finally, Dwayne saying as Ronaldo brought in unnecessary competition. Yeah, leadership qualities, goals, lots of ambition, etc. Good, yeah. We know, but with all what has been unfolding in the negative of him coming in amongst the other issues, he's just asking. I guess we may touch on it when we go in through, right? And listen, team sheets, thoughts.
Well, regards to the team sheet, honestly, I'm starting to get tired of that whole McFred partnership because basically they're starting to become redundant. But like we have said on many podcasts, when Ollie feels under pressure, he goes back to his safe zone, his safe space, his safe players. Basically, like these players, like you said, they do a job for me before. They'll probably based on history, they'll do a job for me again. And his safe group of players, besides the back 4, which is the new one, which is Varane, he's a new guy, but other than those, it's Fred and McTominay, and, well, Pogba, Bruno, and Greenwell. But those kind of new, but the safe bet is the midfield with Fred and thing. But I think but those guys are not doing a job anymore. Basically, I always said at the beginning, they are 2 players, but they are basically taking up a spot for 1. There's 1 guy that should be there, but 2 of them doing a job that 1 person can't do convincingly. So the lineup is not a surprise, but anytime I see that particular lineup, I'm already not accepting what can happen, but I'm already disappointed in that he didn't go with somebody different, or he didn't, get better players in there. Like in the game in midweek against West Ham, I think Donny van de Beek did a decent job. I thought Matic can play every game, and I'm not studying Matic, but I think Donny van de Beek probably could have replaced one of McTominay or Fred and replace them in terms of playing. So I don't know why he didn't choose one of them, and that probably would have given Van der Beek some confidence. But he decided to go with a safe pick, and the safe pick is Fred and McTominay. Basically 2 guys who should be 1. So,
Yeah, well said. I'm gonna just get Kenton inside because he's throwing shade right now. Orim, good night to the panel. Same way, wake me up when Ollie gets sacked, please now. And where Channels, I want to know if McTominay played. Don't worry, Channels coming on just now. He's coming on just now. Richard said the moment I see Fred and not Van de Beek or Matic, I knew it's loss or draw. Josel saying teams like this. Alright, I think I got that comment. Alright, Peter saying, I certainly believe all the tactics are too predictable, plus they are getting complacent. There was no energy. All it needs to motivate and make players accountable for not making obvious assists. Yeah. Jody say we needed Chelsea and Liverpool to drop points, and it happened. The entire team flopped. Yeah. You get through, Kenton. Alright. 2 more comments before I come into you, right, Phil? I'm just trying to organize my sensor button here. Dwayne saying, Anderson, you're coming in a bit distorted, buddy. So maybe you could check that out, Anderson. Right. Right. Big Phil, go through.
Yeah, good night. I mean, like everybody says about Mac Fred. I don't call it Mac Fred. I call it hope and prayers. Hope and prayers. That is my mid. That is Manchester United's midfield.
So
One
who's hope
person
and whose prayers? Who's hope and whose
that
prayers?
they can figure it out. They can figure it out. I am not going to figure it out.
It's interchangeably week in, week out. Every week could be with a different somebody.
Because when the ball goes to hope and prayers, I just raise my Bible and I say, "Oh my gosh, I hope they do something well." But with regards to the lineup, I was actually pleased with the lineup. Don't get me wrong, Donny van de Beek and Matic played well in midweek. And I wanted them to start today, but I said, you know what, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going with that safe lineup, that hope and prayers lineup. I can't call them Mac Fred anymore. It's hope and prayers. Right? By now the back four picks itself. Right? David De Gea, the back four, but it's always about this midfield. We're like a donut, like Donut FC, nothing in the middle, right? And then seeing Pogba on the left, I was definitely pleased because we know Pogba is more effective on the left than in the middle. So I kind of expected at least a 2-0 from Manchester United, but I will give it back to the host. That's all I will say.
What's Big Phil? I was expecting more. But good.
But we're talking about the lineup. When we go further into the podcast, the other big Phil will come out.
All right, nice. And similarly, guys, I echo your thoughts on the lineup. You wouldn't expect anything else from Oli. And the thing about it is, just 3 days prior, Donny van de Beek and Matic, who were the other midfield options, would have played 90 minutes. So I never thought that in my mind, knowing how Oli, is, I didn't see neither of them starting, especially considering Fred was fit and McTominay was fit. So everything else was expected. I didn't expect to see anybody else start, right? I mean, and this is one of the things people can predict, our starting lineup so very easily. And it is where it is, So would I have liked somebody else to start? Yeah, probably Donny van de Beek after the performance. But as you all echoed, once Oli knows, stuff at risk and he has to bounce back from the result midweek, he had to go with his safest 11, and that's what we saw. And well, he got the result for that. Joey saying Greedywood back in tongue, yes. Hey Kristen, good night. Thanks for joining, buddy. He's saying no longer Penandez, it's Bruno Mars. Way, yeah, he's sky that's in space, eh? Yeah, boy.
It's true, because the man sent that free kick to Mars, because the man named Bruno Mars, for true.
He said my boy Bruno go bounce back. But no doubt about that, yes. Richard saying, Phil, I know that ain't water in that cup, but I feel you.
It's true. It's true. It's spirits. I went to church today because of Manchester United, and whatever's in this cup, whatever you're guessing is in the cup, because they made me went to church and get the spirits. Oh my! I'm done. Back to ring. Oh my gosh.
So guys, so we looking at another. We always expect after a poor result for a reaction or a response from the team. And sometimes the response will come in the form of a performance. Other times we'll just accept the fact that, hey, we were poor, but we win, we get the 3 points, let me move on. But we didn't get neither today, right? So after what was what happened on Wednesday against a second string West Ham team, we came into a situation now where we were going to say, well, hey, yeah, we're going on. At least the first team go do better. The second team, them fellas don't play regularly, so obviously got some gelling issues. Chemistry mightn't be, at the levels that you would expect from a second string team who not getting much minutes. But anyway, we first team star-studded, the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Mason Greenwood, fire the youth firing. Not to mention Champions League Varane, Maguire, Luke Shaw, David De Gea, who on top form. These are the guys that coming in now to take over from our second string team who didn't perform on Wednesday. And I think, Gregory, you had noted what kind of mentality them fellas came into the game with. You know, because we didn't see any kind of urgency. I really thought, though, that at the start of the game, you know, probably the first 15, 20 minutes, we weren't bad enough. We moved the ball around nicely. We showed some kind of impetus. But I still never saw where the goal was coming. Right? Because I always felt that Aston, we didn't make it hard enough for Aston Villa. Right? They were always comfortable handling whatever we threw at them. And that was concerning. But you always think, you know, even though deep down I have an issue with that style of play, but you always think having the likes of Ronaldo, having the likes of, you know, the names I would have called earlier, somebody go pop up and score a goal and well, all go be well, you know? But, I mean, it's how long you could depend on these individual moments of brilliance. Go through, fellas.
We made Tyrone Mings look like Tyrone Maldini. Why? Tyrone Mings is like the English Victor Lindelof. He's a joke. And yet we still could not score a goal against Tyrone Mings. What's on the performance today?
Phil. You giving Victor Lindelof too much credit there. Tyrone Mings is like the English Marcus Rojo. The man is just a brute. He's physical. He likes to get in the face of people. Let's face it. You talk about Victor Lindelof, who was in the same Swedish national team with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And Zlatan and Tyrone Mings not too long ago were in each other's faces. Come on. Victor even have that. I'm stronger than Victor Lindelof. I'm gonna keep saying that. That just goes to show how much I don't trust Victor Lindelof in a one-on-one situation to mark a corner. So when Maguire and Shaw got injured, if you thought I was worried about McFred,
Lindelof actually played well today. Like Lindelof and Diego Dallo, they played well today.
And that's the only solace I can really take. But knowing him from the start, knowing the kind of player that Lindelof is, for him to go through a full 90 minutes, he's gonna get found out very quickly, and that's my biggest issue with him. So for me, that was one of my biggest things.
But you spoke about Tyrone Mings, Phil, and for some reason Tyrone Mings always seems to have a good game against Manchester United. You know, he's one of the kind of nasty type of defenders who will always, you know, push to the limits to see how much he could get away with without getting out, or at least until he get a warning from the referee. And if the referee do not warn him or give him a caution, then he's going to push it until. And sometimes I think that our players, especially our attackers, we're too nice. Our players are too nice. We need to be a little more dirty in the way we play, you know, because I'm seeing, as you would have noted, we have Tyrone Mings looking like a baller. Tyrone Mings don't look like that against other top teams. I
honestly want to know what's going on with the coaching staff at Manchester United. So I'm done with the coaching staff. So Michael Carrick, as much as you are a United legend, I want you out. Mike Phelan, I want you out as well. McKenna, I do not know where they dig you up from. I want you out as well. Right? I don't care, Greg. I don't care. I do not care. I do not care right now, okay? It's almost like our coaching staff is a bunch of side men. They're not the main course. Our coaching staff are like corn on the cob, bread in a basket, coleslaw. They're not steak, they're not chicken, they're not lobster, they're just side men. I do not know where Manchester United will be going this season with this coaching staff if we cannot break down Aston Villa Football Club with Tyrone Mings in the back four. When it comes to Liverpool and Klopp, when it comes to Pep Guardiola and Man City, when it comes to Brendan Rodgers and Leicester, when it comes to Rafa Benitez and Everton, how on God's green earth are we going to break them down? The coaching staff is an absolute joke. Ream and Anderson and Greg, I'm done with them. The absolute joke. I'm done.
Let me
think
post a
after,
question to you, Anderson, right?
Yeah.
And you could follow through with your thoughts as well, right? And this is as we are on the topic of talking about the coaching staff and so forth and so on, right? Now, sometimes because as fans, we would look at and see certain things that you'd expect that these professionals would see and cater and plan for, right? Now, Villa started the game with a back five, right? They had three centre backs and well, the wing backs, right? Kasha and I can't remember who played on the other side. No,
Targets.
target.
Cash and target, yeah.
Right. Now, wouldn't you think that playing a 4-2-3-1 may not be as productive or as effective against three defenders? Where are the changes in our system? Can we play more than one system, or are we so drilled and so fixed on playing one thing that regardless as to what the opposition do, you just expect that this is going to work? They say, what's the saying? You're doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's insanity.
Yeah,
Not so?
yeah.
So go
That's
through
insanity.
Well, I think one thing I think I have to agree with Phil on that last point he made about the coaching. So for not just this season, but going back to previous, it seems that there's not much coaching or not much managing, which leads into what you just said, in that if a team like last week, Aston Villa, I think they always play a back three for most parts of this season. So everybody know. I think that they didn't have Twanzebe because he's on loan, so they can't play him. But they usually play a back three. So everybody knows that is the team. That is how they usually play. So you would think, as going back to coaching, that the players would have been drilled that, hey, this team likes to go to a back three. So they go to a back three, but they can't go to a back five. So you would think that, hey, the players would have been taught that, hey, we have to change things tactically, So we don't need, again, which goes back to the beginning, what I said about the starting 11. You do not need Fred and McTominay if a team is going to play a back five.
Thank you.
Basically, that doesn't make any sense on any level. Any level, you don't need two defensive-minded midfielders to play against a team that basically gonna play 7 behind the ball.
At home as well too.
At home, not to mention at home. So you have 7 Aston Villa players basically defending for most of the game. You don't need 2 holding midfielders to do what? To just stand up at the halfway line to do what? Just to watch each other? No, that is why you would have needed another player. And again, this goes into the point you just asked. Don't you think that tactically the manager should be up on the sideline saying, hey, look, look, everybody just make jokes about Pep, how he's always be making all kind of hand gestures or anything like that. But you can see that he'll be watching the game and he can identify things within the game that is going on. So he identifying that, hey, this team is this, you go there, you go there, you go there. So as much as it'll be funny to watch on the sideline, you can see he identifying what is going on the field. And I don't know if Solskjaer or any of his coaches or any of the manager, I know the game has passed my crazy, because he's been, he's old. Not to, he's been around a long. I don't know if the game has passed him by, but nobody can identify, hey, that we need to do something different. We need to take off a guy. We need to put on another guy. Like at halftime, McFred or McTominay should have been off. Forget about injuries. One of them should have been off, and you put on another midfielder attacker, and so you go. But I'm not sure if within the game if anybody's making any kind of tactical adjustments.
But let me ask this, Anderson, and probably Greg, you could weigh in on this as well, because that's an interesting point that you brought up there, right? Because the injuries to Maguire and Shaw, certainly, I mean, you would think that might have thrown off any tactical adjustments player-wise that Ollie maybe wanted to do, because after you take 2 of them off, you only have 1 more substitution, right? And you're trying to hold on to that in the event of anything happen, because you always, no matter how many substitutions you always hold one back in the event of anything to make a late change. So, guys, you don't think that the fact that Shaw and Maguire had to come off the game early, you thought that changed anything
Reem,
that Oli could have done?
You're making excuses because one, we're at home. Two, it's Aston Villa. Three, this is a sign of what makes a great manager, right? A great manager has a plan A, B, C, and D. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the coaching staff have no plan B. I'm sorry, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would get a girl pregnant and she would go in the drawer and she would be like, "Where's the plan B?" And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would say, "No, I have no plan B." And boom, that is what makes a great manager. Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho, Jurgen Klopp, Sir Alex Ferguson, Bielsa. I can go on and on and on. A great coach has a plan B, C, D. It's almost like we go back to the young boys game, Reem. When Wan-Bissaka got sent off, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have a plan B? No, he panicked, right? But let's go back to the Aston Villa game, right? Why are we playing a double pivot, as your man Anderson said, versus a Aston Villa? Aston Villa, we should be beating Aston Villa. I'm sorry, but we have Ronaldo, Pogba, Mason Greenwood, and Bruno Fernandes. We should not be conceding a goal, and we should not be losing to Aston Villa. I'm sorry, there's no plan B for this team. All they got is Solskjaer.
But Phil, you don't think, because you said it there, right? And this is what I think and could also be an issue because we're saying it's only Aston Villa. And I think that is a problem because I don't know if it's Gregory who mentioned it earlier, that we went into the game casual because it's only Aston Villa. And I'm asking myself, if we really given teams, no, okay, let me put it like this. Are we giving teams any respect at all? There's a difference between giving them no respect and too much respect, right? Mm-hmm. If you give them too much respect, then they play within yourself. If you give them no respect, then they go into the game casual. So
deduct all the players' wages who gave them too much respect. Deduct the wages.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
deduct the wages. How do you differentiate who did that? Because a lot of them will probably look at
the game.
No. Greg, we have a saying in Barbados, and I don't know if you guys have it in Trinidad, where Peter pays for Paul and Paul pays for all. Right?
That's a universal saying, Phil. That's a universal saying.
Good. Even better. Peter pays for Paul and Paul pays for all. I don't care if Ronaldo was non-existent today, and I don't care if David De Gea was great today. Deduct all of their wages. I don't care anymore. Deduct their wages. Now, you guys don't understand how piss poor a performance was today. You guys don't understand. We have no strategy. We had no strategy versus Aston Villa today, Greg B. We didn't.
I watched it. I did. And I agree with you because at the end of the day,
there was no style of play. There was no style of play. There was no philosophy. There was no, you know what, Aston Villa is playing this way. Let's try it another way. It's so stagnant. It is so devastating. It's so dull. I'm sorry, but this coaching staff needs to go. Go. Come.
Elaborate on what you're saying, Phil.
This coaching staff needs to come on All In, All United and explain themselves.
Yeah, but we gonna have to make sure you just in an undisclosed location because you look like you want to fight somebody right now. But okay, just to kind of elaborate on the point that you were making, Phil. I'm just saying in my mind is like I think mainly a lot of those coaches in there, I think they've gotten so accustomed to using that. It's like they're scared to change because they think because they may not have used so different formations, even though they said that they wanted to experiment with it, they feel like in big games that is going to fall flat. So I don't know why it is that they constantly feel the need to go with this particular formation.
We had preseason, Greg. We had preseason. We had preseason to experiment.
That's my whole thing, and I'm just watching it and saying to myself, why not try to really put these things into place? Because it's times like this when you need to change things up.
Right, but the only thing, right, and I'm trying earlier to look at it from a different perspective, right? I'm trying a little bit to be devil's advocate here, because you're saying, Phil, that we had preseason, but did we really have a preseason? You know, considering when the majority of the first teamers came back, there was 1 or 2
It,
games
do, it
before
does,
the league start.
Reem,
So,
it does not
so
matter. Reem. No. Reem, a philosophy and a system must be injected and instilled into Manchester United players. If I take out one
yeah,
piece
no,
of the
I don't
puzzle,
disagree with that.
exactly. If I take out one piece of the puzzle and I fit another player into the system, that player will already know, okay, I know I'm supposed to be on this part of the pitch when a certain player has the ball. Or when I have the ball, I know that 2 or 3 players are going to be this part of the pitch. That's what a system does, Reem. I'm sorry, but we had a preseason to implement a system, a philosophy to inject into these players, and it does not make sense us winning on just individual performances, Reem. I'm sorry. You can play
Yeah,
devil's advocate from
we
now till the
we
cows
agree on
come home.
that.
I don't
We
care.
agree on that, Phil. We agree on that, you know. But what I'm saying is, you're saying that we could have used the preseason to work, because yes, philosophy is one thing, right? Philosophy is not dictated by a system. I mean, a formation. I agree with that. But there are certain things, you know, unique to different formations in terms of how you want to play runs. That kind of understanding of where this person's supposed to be and where that person's supposed to be, that you need to practice. Philosophy or not, you need to practice certain different formations. So if you're saying that they had preseason to work on that, I had to disagree, because the first team didn't come back until a week or 2 before the season start. No, I get what
Not
you're saying.
Greg. Not Greg. I mean, Reem is a system. You implement a system throughout an entire team, it doesn't matter, because once certain players are on the pitch, they're going to know which part of the pitch I'm going to be when player A has the ball. Me as a football player, when player B, C, and D have the ball, me as player E, I know I'm going to be in this position when they have the ball, right? I know after, let's say, 7 or 8 passes, I know I have to position myself in this position. That is not at Manchester United. It doesn't matter what player. If all of us on this podcast were in, I don't know, Manchester City system, we know that Pep Guardiola is going to inject us with a philosophy and say, you know what? Anderson, you be at this part of the pitch when Phil has the ball. Greg B, you be at this part of the pitch when Reem has the ball. Big Phil, you'll be part of this pitch when Anderson has the ball. That's not in Manchester United. It should be flowing through the entire team, Reem. I'm not taking that excuse. I'm sorry. I'm not.
All right.
I agree.
I think in another aspect, you can also look at it from where there was a lack of decision making in a lot of things. So there may be a philosophy there, but it's the execution from some of the players that's really putting it in place. You can look at it and say that you will have a system there, but it doesn't mean that the players involved are really matching up to it as regards where they execute, where they position themselves. Because you look at some of these things that happened today, especially with Mason Greenwood. You know, you had Ronaldo, you had Bruno in like 2 different areas there. Lay the ball off and let them get a proper shot. No, but instead you decide you want to get greedy, and besides you want to get all the goal headlines. It does not add up, because you watch that, and I'm sure this is something Ollie and the coaching staff would have drilled into them. I think you don't even need to be drilled on that. You know you're in an angle and someone else is in a better position to finish. You lay it off.
I gotta tell you one thing before I hand it over to your Reem, right? I watched Liverpool over the last 3 to 4 games and even last season, right? Nobody pressures Trent Alexander-Arnold. But when it's Manchester United, everybody is pressuring Wan-Bissaka. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. I'm done with this coaching staff. I'm done.
We'll just get some comments before I come to you, right, Anderson? We have a couple coming through, so I'll just run through real quick, and then I'll come to you. Christian saying, why we just had to wait until the next team score before we start to play football? Like, as soon as we can see these men does have a reaction without the coach intervening or making a change. Why they don't play like that from the start?
That's a good question.
That's Ollie headache. What Ollie and Carrick speaks about when things going wrong. Ollie. Okay, so there's role play here. Ollie, hey, what you have to say in your mind for tomorrow's training session? Carrick, passing. Did I mention passing? Hey, much better. We could laugh now, but these things might be a reality earlier. Now it's sad. Kenton saying, when you playing against a back five, basically just play a 4-4-2. Yeah, and I think in the press conference before the game, Oli was speaking glowingly about playing Ronaldo and Cavani together. So I
But
was expecting
here's the thing:
that earlier.
you don't even have to play a 4-4-2 because Cristiano Ronaldo is going to draw two players towards him. So you take two players out of that back three. You leave Mason Greenwood one on one with another defender at Aston Villa. And I am going to bet my house, my land, my rent that Mason Greenwood is going to beat that defender and score, right? You guys don't realize I had to wake up at 7:30 this morning to watch that garbage. You guys don't realize this here. I was playing my PlayStation comfortably till about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was playing Hitman and I was playing Call of Duty. I was playing FIFA 2021 up to about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had to wake up to watch that. You guys don't understand.
Hear that. Phil, you learn your lesson. Next time, go and sleep early. When you go and watch Man United.
Ream is a Friday night. I don't have work tomorrow. I don't have work tomorrow. So
I agree.
It's time for me to relax.
Yes,
But when I relax until 3 o'clock in the morning, and I gotta wake up at 7:30 to watch 2 hours of garbage from Manchester United, I am done with this coaching staff. I'm done.
I'm coming and the slow. We just get some comments here, right? Ian said here, it's like we not studying those teams before we play them, or they just telling these fellas go out and have a good time.
Thank you.
Here, hey. And Simeon saying it makes sense to Oli, right? Dwayne saying it's clear to see tactically we are very immature, right? And other teams doing their homework because from the time they see McFred, they know what's coming. Yeah. Right. Go through, Anderson.
Well, I saying what like Phil was saying about the philosophy that is imprinted like in Man City. Everybody, it doesn't matter who comes, Mahrez, Grealish, Sterling, it don't matter. They all
Bernardo
know
Silva.
Bernardo Silva. It doesn't matter who comes. They all know what they have to do. And at some point, people used to, I guess in the beginning, when Mahrez came, they used to say, how would Mahrez adjust to Pep's system or whatever? And he adjusted. He couldn't hold on to the ball and dribble past, 10 players or hold on to the ball on the side like how he does. And he eventually become that one touch, and that's what he like. So I do agree that it doesn't seem to have a system in place. So that means interchangeably that whether it be Greenwood, Sancho, Martial, Rashford when he gets back, it doesn't matter who comes in. They should know it does. They should know that hey, this is how I'm supposed to play. This is how. But it seems like everybody comes in like the first time they're playing with each other. It's like every time is always like a 11-a-side pickup game in the savannah. Everybody just come up. It's like a pet match. Hey, we just meet up for the first time. Let me go out there and see what's going on, and that's it. But look, I never one of those people who say that this guy should get fired or this guy should go or anything like that. But you have to see some kind of improvement over in the team, and not just in people say, oh, we finished second or we had this much points or we finished. It's not like that. You have to see the team improving on the field. Otherwise, games like today will happen. You will, you're just relying on Ronaldo to score or Bruno to grab a last minute penalty to get a salvage a draw. You have to see something within the team that you can say, hey, at the end of the day, we know that's how we're going to play, no matter who the team is, and we will get a result one way or the other. But it's like he said, it's hope and pray. When you see those guys, it's like hope and pray. Hope that Greenwood won't be greedy. Hope that Greenwood won't be greedy. Or hope that when Rashford come back, he will make proper decision making. Or hope that, stuff like that. So, you need something more structured, something more solid that you could count on. Not just talent.
Greg, this one is for you, right? And the snagging brought it up. because I remember when McTominay was injured, and this is the trap that fans usually fall into. I remember when McTominay was injured, everybody was saying when McTominay come back, we go see a better midfield, you know. And McTominay played 2 games, and well, I don't know if he come back yet, right? To add to that, people, no, we've now reached the place. Now, mind you, we have all these big names that I don't have to repeat again because we've called it so many times. And now we still saying when Rashford coming back, or when Rashford come back, so and so gonna happen. Haven't we burnt in making these kind of statements already? And I drew the example with the McTominay thing because we shouldn't have to be dependent on one player to come back to start to play properly. We shouldn't have to be saying, well, we go play better
Absolutely
when
not.
Rashford come back. We go play better in
Absolutely
midfield
not.
when McTominay come back. We go play better when Shaw recover from injury. I don't understand why we stretching for these kind of reasonings to justify, the position. I think we have enough quality in our team to be playing better. Yes, Rashford has his
Exactly.
qualities, but that shouldn't really change anything in terms of how we playing. Go through record.
Hey, you have to look at it from the perspective of, at the end of the day, remember, it's not just the 11 players that's on the team. You have the substitutes and also other players that make up a system that's supposed to fit in. Remember, when you have a situation where you're going to have injuries, you have to be able to fit in another player when that particular player that you initially had for your starting 11 is unable to make the team. And they're supposed to be able to kind of fit in seamlessly. So to say that we have to wait for this one to come back or that one to come back or the next one to come back, that shouldn't be necessarily an issue. I understand people saying that we don't have enough of a depth quality in our depth, but at the same time, these are all players that should be able to, even though they may not be the most quality of player, they should still be able to fit whatever system's working. And it's clear that the system that Ollie has in place seems to be specifically adjusted to fit those particular set of players that he has starting. So when another group will come in, it looks somewhat disjointed. And I think that is where where the whole tactics need to change, because you want it to be a sort of tactical ability where anybody can fit into that system and play the kind of football that Manchester United is expected to play. Whether it's Scott McTominay or, dare I say his name, Andreas Pereira. I know he's crap, but still, at the same time, just a name I'm throwing out there. I'm not saying that he's there, but it should be something where you can still get these players to play at a certain level where they're competent enough to show that they have the capability to fit in. Because you look at that and then you see what we've been relying on a lot of times is where players are coming in and having to have those little moments of brilliance to really save us from situations. Just imagine the Leeds game was the one game where we looked like we actually played as a unit. And that's not good, because you're going into harder competitions as you go along too. The young boys lost. I mean, I still kind of tax that due to the red card to Wan-Bissaka, so I don't really go in too harsh on them. But we have Villarreal Wednesday. We still have to play Atalanta in that group stage as well too. And those two teams, we already know our history at Villarreal as is. Europa League final. Atalanta is no easy team. So we have to kind of make sure that we're up there and we're ready mentally, physically, tactically to be prepared for those kinds of oppositions, because Atalanta is a team that is a lot like Leeds, only they're a bit more clinical. They will run you into the ground same speed too. And Joseph Ilicic and those guys don't allow too many mistakes. So we kind of have to remind ourselves that Champions League football is there. And if we want to stay there, we have to perform at that level. So looking at it from, we need a certain player to be within the team for us to perform at an optimal level. There's only so far that excuse can take you.
Yeah, fully agreed. I'll come to you, Phil. I just want to get some comments here, right? Simena saying teams thinking they gave United too much respect now. The fact that we can't get up and play real football with Ronaldo, Varane, Pogba. The blood is in the water. Yeah. Devin just saying, well, he's asking a question. He's saying, if you had to choose between winning 3 games in October against the likes of City, Liverpool, and Atlanta, or lose the majority and Ole sacked? Which one would you choose? I assume.
If you're a real Manchester United fan, you would never want to lose any games in the first place. So that ultimatum is stupid to me. But that's just my opinion.
All right, all right.
Our system is so flawed that number nines will never flourish in our system, right? Look at last year. Bruno Fernandes was our top goal scorer, and he's a midfielder. He's a midfielder. This system is not suited for any number nine, right? Am I surprised that Ronaldo did not score today? No, I did not.
Not only not score, he suffer for service.
Well, Ronaldo was like Casper, the ghost today, non-existent. I mean, at the end of the day, we need to implement a system into the players where you say, you know what? You do this, I do that, and in certain times when I'm passing over the football, position yourself in this part of the pitch, right? And I did not see that today, right? And I think I mentioned to Greg earlier today, right? A lot of people are coming on to Fred over the last 3 to 4 games. Cool. But Fred was actually one of our best players today, right? Yeah. Maguire and Shaw were absolute garbage today before they were subbed off. I saw Luke Shaw jumping for a football and he missed the entire football, which had Aston Villa on the attack against us, right? Harry Maguire says, you know what? I must make at least one mistake again because Rafael Varane is there. He's the red Ninja Turtle. He's so solid, right? I just do not see where this team is going with this coaching staff and this system we have implemented. I was told a couple months ago that there's Ole ball. You know, Ole ball is for the front three to press the defenders. Every team in the EPL does that. Press the defenders. That's no system. Everybody knows how to do that, right? I honestly do not see a system in place right now, right? No, don't get me wrong. We're about 5 or 6 games into the season, right? But I was asked a question on the last All United by a guy named Simeon. He had a great question. He said, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to change this system now, if the coaching staff is not going to implement nothing now, what makes you, Big Phil, think that the system will change by Christmas? Because I told him that I'm giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer till Christmas. And he asked me straight up, what makes you, Big Phil, think that the system or the philosophy will change by Christmas? And I was like a bump on the log. I was totally clueless. I did not know what to tell him. I didn't.
Yeah.
What your stuff is done.
And Hamon, welcome, buddy. Thanks for joining. He said we cannot be dropping points at games that, for all intents and purposes, should win comfortably. Yeah, we are so much better than this. The coaches have to be able to make adjustments on the fly and not stick to a formula that does not work. All right. Well, Simeon, as Big Phil had referred to, he's saying Rashford will be on the field as soon as he's fit. Go on, beat 3 men and score and save my job. I could see Ole thinking this way. He did it so much last season, we forgot how bad we played.
And that Rashford was one of our most inconsistent players last season.
Frustrating as well, huh?
My gosh.
Yeah. And this is one of the things that, and this is why I had asked Greg the question, earlier, because the fan base always tends to look at and see. They look for solutions in the wrong places, not seeing the solution, the problem glaring in your face here. That we have a fundamental problem with the way we play. What happens on the coaching in training, rather than looking at this player to come in and change our fortunes as though Rashford is going to walk back into the team and everything is going to be all well and good. And I don't see that happening. Jody saying, remember when I was telling you that it will have a game where the team will lose if they concede first? Yeah, definitely. And we don't have we're not seeing where the individual moments are coming because we're just not playing for even that to happen. Kerry, Ole lost today, right? I guess letting you know.
Bruno to the world.
I want to know where he got out from, because at the end of the day,
he
last
lost
time I checked, Yeah, you know why?
they lost.
I fight Chelsea man real brave today, boy.
Yeah, they lost. And I hear Lukaku where he tims today. So watch
Yeah.
relax.
Yeah, he went in for the whole season. Just today it show up more.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why he took him.
I told Chelsea fans when Lukaku is against proper defenders, not no Pablo Mari and those joke men. When Lukaku is against proper defenders, he will not score. When Lukaku played against Virgil van Dijk and Matic, the guy was non-existent. Okay, go away with that, man.
Simeon saying Marcel clapping in the back. And I don't think he
Who was Marcel? Marcel had no reason to be clapping at anything right now. Unless he clap in the back and clap a ball in the back of the net, he had no reason to be clapping at about anything.
But if he clap it, it will count.
No, it'll be a handball, so no.
Jody saying, but that 36-year-old was hustling the ball better than the young guys. Now,
Let me elaborate on Jody's comment there for a second, because a lot of people that were saying this, I had a discussion with Real Madrid fans the other day, because they were saying that Ronaldo's past his peak. Kerry White needs to behave himself about that Maguire coming, because the same Maguire scoring him in Stamford Bridge, so you need to hush. Anyhow, so the whole talk about how Cristiano Ronaldo would not track back and help out defending, and there were games where I saw Cristiano Ronaldo doing the exact same thing that they said he was not going to be doing. So I think we need to give Cristiano Ronaldo a little bit more credit than that. 36-year-old age ain't nothing but a number to this man. So that's how we had to look at that.
Yeah. Anderson, you want to weigh in on anything, buddy?
Yeah, well, one thing we had, I remember when Ole had come in his first set of season, I think we had Mourinho had get fired or whatever, and they were saying, well, we have to bring back the attacking way of Manchester United, the old time, I guess, the old school, well, not as the old school, but the old time play Manchester United attacking, because we went through Mourinho, Van Gaal, and Moyes. So he said he wanted to bring back more attacking. But he hasn't. But if you look at the team selection, it's not really. I mean, it's still relying on individual brilliance. It's not really an attacking type of lineup. Because the attacking type of lineup would not always be the safe picks he always makes. So he says, we wanted to make attacking, but he never really identified, what kind of way are we going to be attacking? Are we going to be, he never identified like the formation. He never identified, like you always say, the system. He just said, we wanted to bring back an attacking way. And I think now it has shown up more than ever that he has basically gone with a safe way to play. Not necessarily an attacking way, more like a safe choice. A safe choice. So it's not really any kind of way how we first advertise. It's more like a safe pick, basically.
I think we only saw that when Oli got the job permanently. When he was there on the interim, he was gung-ho. He knew that, well, listen, I just want to bring back this belief to the club. Let them fellas express themselves, let them attack, wherever. But from the time he got it permanent, his whole thought process and mentality changed into securing a job, as opposed to, bringing that back that he was talking about now, that free-flowing kind of football.
But how he can't, but Reem, in today's day and age, you can't be, a job is not secure in football. A job is not secure. As any Chelsea man out there, a job is not secure.
Yeah, I agree, but you saw that change was so glaring, it was so different after he got the permanent job, the permanent post. You saw it, it was so obvious. So I am thinking that was his thought process, because that's the only thing could explain why the teams had to play so defensive after.
You think the Glazers could not fire Ole Gunnar Solskjaer by Christmas and compensate him and bring in some other manager? No, the job is not secure.
But they're not going to do that.
But who comes in though? That's the next thing. Who comes in if Oli gets that?
That is the problem. When you fire somebody, you always have to have an idea who you're going to bring in. Otherwise, you will end up like Arsenal. Keep bringing in guys.
I can tell you one thing now. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just happens to get fired by Christmas and the Glazers and the board make Michael Carrick as interim manager, I am done. I will not.
Brother man. We go. No. I rebuke this in the name of Jesus. We don't do that here. No.
So here it is, right, guys? Now we're watching the time. But I want to talk about two more things, right? We want to touch on the Villarreal game on Wednesday. But before that, we want to go into the penalty shootout. Now, a lot of people, and we know that, hindsight is always so, right? So. Anyway, so a lot of people were saying why Ronaldo didn't take the penalty. Now, there was a little incident, and I think I'd shared it. I can't remember who I shared it with. That, Phil, it's you, right? That took place before the penalty was taken. Martinez went up to Bruno, and Ronaldo was right there. And Martinez was saying, he was telling Ronaldo, you should take the penalty. You're better. You need to take the penalty. And all that was mind games to get into Bruno's head. Now, Bruno has proved, right, so many times in clutch moments, he is the man to take the penalty, right? I've seen Bruno put the ball in the bottom corner, far left, far right, when we really needed that goal. And it was very uncharacteristic of Bruno to sky that ball, or Bruno Mars, as Christian had put it earlier. It was very, very, very uncharacteristic. And I don't know why Bruno, being a professional player, I mean, I guess he's human, but why at this point where we needed this goal, why you would allow Martinez to get into your head? I don't know how many of you all saw it.
But Ray Martinez did that in the Copa America versus Colombia. He got into the players' heads, and all of a sudden, Yaramina was missing, and any other Colombia player that stepped up was getting saved or missed, right? So this is not the first time that we've seen Emi Martinez look to trash talk a penalty taker, right? But I will say this right now. From today, Bruno Fernandes has given up his right to take free kicks and penalties, right? I had no problem with Bruno Fernandes taking the penalty today. But with that sky-high penalty that's gone to NASA, I'm sorry. Bruno Fernandes, when a penalty is given to Manchester United, step aside and let CR7 take that penalty, right? And that is just my opinion.
All right. Hey, Mikel Maraj, thanks for joining, buddy. He said Ronaldo should have taken that penalty, scoring in all games thus far. Greg?
I mean, listen, players are going to have moments where they're going to miss penalties. We've seen Messi miss a penalty. We've seen Ronaldo miss a penalty. We've seen great players over the years have absolute shockers. Baggio's penalty missed in the World Cup in '94 was similar to Bruno's today. So that just goes to show.
Jorginho in the Euros, who's known for scoring penalties. Mario Balotelli.
So Kerry White, if you're listening, look, your boy Jorginho, who scores penalties for you guys for Chelsea, he missed on a couple of occasions himself. So hush. But anyway, the whole point is that at the end of the day, it's going to be a situation where under pressure, I've even seen Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's probably one of the most confident men on God's green earth, miss penalties, and you're looking at that and you're saying to yourself, how? So it can happen to anyone. I just don't think that this is something that should completely shake Bruno Fernandes' confidence. Granted, people will say give Cristiano Ronaldo the penalty duties from here on in. If it works out, if it so happens that in a crucial game Cristiano Ronaldo misses, what are we going to do? Are we going to go back to Bruno? Are we going to give it to Pogba? Are we going to give it to Greenwood? I mean, sometimes we just have to allow these players to shake these things off and get back up to a certain confidence level, because stripping them off and doing like what Jose was doing at one point, and like, okay, you miss a penalty, no more again. What Van Gaal was doing the same thing too. It doesn't help the players' confidence when it comes to composure and in big situations. So I think it's uncharacteristic, yes, but to just completely take him off of the duty instantly, if it becomes a pattern, yes, take him off. But for now, this is just a one-off occasion. I say just let it slide.
I had to agree with Jody here, because he's my captain and I ain't get nothing for him this wrongs way, because he wanted him to take the penalty for points in Fantasy Premier League. But and listen, because I think Gregory summed it up pretty nicely there. Because for me, knowing Bruno, he allowed a player to get into his head, so he showed vulnerability now that could be capitalized on by other goalkeepers, other players, because it was Martinez, it was also Mings, and I think it was Hawes is how you pronounce his name, whatever. So does that vulnerability make him suspect for more penalties in the future that you will say, listen, you know what?
Reem,
I'll
Reem,
give somebody
Reem,
else it.
Reem. It is very easy to get into Bruno Fernandes' head from last season. You barely tap Bruno Fernandes, he goes down and he's flying up and flinging about, and he wants to know ref. It's so easy to get into Bruno Fernandes' head. I am not surprised that Emi Martinez was able to get into Bruno Fernandes' head. I saw last season when Bruno Fernandes barely got touched or got a tackle, he's rolling around and he's asking for the ref, right? So that's players getting into his head. I'm not surprised.
I mean, I don't think they should take it away. Like Greg said, I mean, these are players does miss penalties.
True.
Nobody's one. Mauro Balotelli probably was the closest person to
A perfect
perfection,
penalty record, yeah.
but he missed an all eventually. So
Correct.
I don't think, but I do think Bruno should he shouldn't take everything. Not, I mean, all the time. Not not every penalty, not every free kick. Like we said, it have other players who could put in a better. I think Pogba could you know could could do some free kicks. I think Ronaldo could do free kicks. I think it have other players who can, depending, you know, on the situation, could do even a better job. And I do agree with stripping him away. Or if he is the designated penalty taker for the team, the first guy, if he's on the team, keep it with him. If he choose to give it to somebody else, like how we did, I think maybe last season was to give Rashford or something like that, or if he chooses, then that's his own way. But I don't think we could just strip it away from him just because he missed. But
No,
I
I'm,
do think
I'm not. I'm not saying strip it from Bruno, right? But I just have this feeling that going forward, that penalties and free kicks will be allocated or designated to Ronaldo. That's all I'm saying. I just have
no,
this
no,
feeling.
but you do have a point there. I'm afraid that everybody will say, "Oh, Bruno missed, so let's give it to everything to Ronaldo now." And I do agree with that either. I think it does depend on the situation. If a free kick is at a certain position, 20 yards out, I think Pogba could put in a better ball than almost anybody from that, from far out. So I do associate with the fact that you must give one player every single job responsibility to do on the field, regardless however it is. So,
Boy,
but
that was Frank Lampard at Chelsea. Boy, that guy took corners, free kick, penalties.
And he
That guy
was good,
took
eh?
everything, boy.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. Um, so guys, I mean, we want to tie up this aspect because we want to touch on the Villarreal game pretty quickly, right? Very quickly. Another disappointing performance. I mean, we tried as much as possible to be composed with our expressions. I know Phil could have gone deeper, but we tried. And he asked me to ask him, well, why it is you're wearing that Japan jersey, Phil? So please tell us. Where would the
Well, the
Japan
reason
jersey?
the reason to the viewers, good night, is that I'm wearing this Japanese jersey because I don't understand two things. I do not understand Japanese. I do not understand the performance that Manchester United Football Club put down today. Right? I'm confused by Japanese. I'm confused by the tactics that the coaching staff and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's a better chance of me learning Japanese than learning what the coaching staff is putting at Manchester right now. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I am done with the coaching staff. I'd rather learn and watch Japanese and anime than to learn what the coaching staff is doing at man. I am done. I'm done. Michael Carrick out, Mike Fallon out, McKenna. I don't give a rat's backside. I don't care. I'm done.
You know,
uh,
I could understand, the frustration,
oof,
and Nico, hey,
Yeah,
welcome, Nico. We know it
yeah,
was, we know
yeah,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah. For sure, boy, for sure.
Um,
All I watch out there run
So
away.
late now, never boy.
Yeah, all
that's
I
all
watch
right,
out
that's
there
all
run
right,
away.
man. So,
It's tough.
so we talk. I know you already wanted to share your thoughts on the game, but I don't know if you could summarize it in about a minute or two, what you thought about today.
Yeah, today is just another bad day at the office. I think it's three losses in three different competitions. I think this definitely has to say something. Something isn't right. I think when you look at how we play, we definitely won't be able to win anything playing how we playing. So I hope that something happened. I talked to a guy today, and he was saying that the best thing we could hope for is just for United to continue to lose to Carolina. Definitely, we don't want that. We hope that we turn things around with a much better playing style, a much better way. Because we cannot continue to be overrun or to be outcoached or to be outplayed by more minority type players. And definitely are not downgrading any of the quality, because most of the teams we play most of them are full internationals. But in comparison, player to player, I think we shouldn't be outplayed as how we have been outplayed, in the past few games. And to me, that is something that has to turn around, because even the little glimpse I had at the City games today, and you saw how City players, they're so in sync with what they're doing. They're so like violence. The way how they recover the ball, the way how they telepathically know where each player would be on the field. I think when you look at our play, how laborious our players, we definitely have to do something to improve that. Otherwise, we continue to be overrun by smaller teams.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, we continue to note how dependent we are on individuals. And when teams see that, they know exactly who to target, who to shut down, and they know after that we have nothing to offer. Nothing, because the system does not allow for that. You know? Simeon saying here, any of these coaches we're talking about say anything about being better at their job? Any accountability, responsibility? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. So, guys, let's get into Villarreal. We have Villarreal coming up on Wednesday. How confident are you all about Villarreal? I know, Gregory, you would have mentioned our history playing Villarreal. I don't think we ever beat them. It was always draws, and I think we lost the last time that we played them. So, I know, and we always say it, the team knows that they need to respond, they need to react, right? Whether it's in performance or result, because some fans seem to be comfortable with the result. Whether they don't care how we get it. Once we win and we beat Villarreal, all will be well with the world, right? But I mean, more objective, sensible thinking fans will want
Yeah,
will
go.
demand more than that, So I am asking, how do you all see us going into the Villarreal game? Do you all think that the players will really respond, or would it be digging the hole deeper for Ollie? Greg.
It would have to be a immediate response, because I would think, you're knowing that what's at stake at this point. And given the form that we're currently showing, Villarreal just played Real Madrid today and they held them to a goalless draw. So
Wow.
the confidence will be slightly higher with Villarreal, because they're holding the league leaders in Spain to a goalless draw, and getting the performance that they need to really kind of go into this with full momentum. And then losing Shaw and Maguire will be a bit of a worry for our back line. So you kind of have to think about it from the perspective of Ollie will have to change the way that he sets up and be able to do something to counteract it. Villarreal is not the most prolific of teams, but they have caused us headaches. So I think it is something that we really have to keep in mind. And long story short, if we lose on Wednesday, if the tide hasn't turned already, it's going to take a bigger turn than it already has, because the pressure will be much, much more on Oli as it is that it already is now.
Yeah, yeah. Nico? Villarreal.
Yeah. I see another game where we'll be outcoached. Unfortunately to say, I'm not seeing if we have the tactical play or the tactical coaching in our players. And to me, I seen that we will be overplayed by a team that we consider should be lower than our level. I'm hoping that's the case, but deep down inside, I know it's gonna be another difficult game to watch. Another game where Phil going to lose here, or whatever go back, So so yeah, I to me it's gonna be a difficult game. It is going to be a difficult game. Um and I just hoping for the best, to be honest. I just hoping for the best.
Jody saying, but then again, when Ollie's under pressure, somehow or the other, he does get the team to perform. Just my observation. Yeah,
That is true. That is true.
yeah. Anderson, Villarreal.
Yeah, yeah, well, that is going to be a very difficult game on many levels because 3 points, less than 3 points is not be acceptable because the next two games is back to back with Atalanta, home and away. And Atalanta, like Greg said, do not play. They run and run and run. And they do not, it don't matter. They have made it to Champions League group stage with one of the lowest budgets in all of Italy. And they have you want to talk about a team with a style? They have a style of playing. And they don't differentiate from that at all. It doesn't matter who goes there. The main man who was there, I can't remember his name. He left because he fell out with the coach.
Papu Gomez. I know you're talking
Papu
about.
Gomez.
Yeah,
He
Papa
left
Gomez.
because he fell out with the coach and they got rid of him and the team is still in the same zone and they do not play. So this game against Villarreal, against Emery, who is a better at this point. I think he is a better manager than Ole at this stage in his career. So you have to win that game. You have to win that game. I don't know what Ole gonna have, what team thought he's gonna give, what lineup he's gonna put out. But whoever comes out there, I'm not sure what Maguire and Shaw fitness level will be. But I mean, we know you don't gonna have any Basaka because he's out with that with his red card. So Dalot will have to play, and Tellez. I don't know if Tellez will have to play either because I don't know what.
Probably will.
Probably will. I mean, he started off nervous in that West Ham game, but he's still getting back to fitness. So I don't know but they need 3 points. I don't whether hook or crook, like they say, hook or crook, they have to get 3 points. They have to get 3 points. They have, whether it be a individual brilliance, a penalty. I don't care. They have to get 3 points in that game. It don't matter at this point. They have to get 3 points.
Yeah. Phil?
Ask yourself, Reem, why most of the panel has said that it's going to be a difficult game versus Villarreal or any other game this season. Why? Because nobody on this panel does not know what Manchester United will turn up against Villarreal. We do not know.
Exactly.
Everybody can give a prediction saying, "Oh, this is going to be a difficult game. Oh, we must get 3 points." We're saying that because we do not know what Manchester United Football Club will turn up come Wednesday at Old Trafford versus Villarreal. Will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer learn from his mistakes versus Villarreal in the Europa League final? I don't know. I can't say yes or no. I don't know. Right? What do I expect versus Villarreal? Nothing less than a W. And I'll leave it there. I'm done with this coaching staff, man. I'm done. I'm done.
What's right, Nico? I know you miss it, but after every statement Phil make, he done with the coaching staff, right? Yeah.
McKenna Carrican feeling basically them dead to this man right now, boy.
I can see the frustration and Phil like I hide it.
But Nico, there's nothing to hide. I'm not being fake. I'm done with the.
Breathe.
I'm
Breathe.
done. I don't care. Breathe. No, I drinking water.
But
Okay.
wrapping it up.
Okay, water. Okay, all right.
We're wrapping it up, guys. Right? I must say I agree with your thoughts on the Villarreal game, and I think I don't know who it was that mentioned Emery's experience as opposed to Ollie's, and
I was
on the
Anderson.
match
I was
day,
Anderson.
right, and on the match day, it really doesn't come down to anything because that day will determine who is better or not, right? But it should count for the fact that he's a well-traveled manager. So from a tactical perspective, he may have the edge on Oli, but I mean it has to be played on a day, so it may not matter, right? But I'm hoping, because the team has the ability to show up. And Greg, I mean, Phil noted it. You don't know which one going to show up, and I'm hoping that the entertaining Manchester United, who could score goals, shows up on Wednesday. Because I'm telling you, the pressure will mount on this team if we were to lose. And the thing about it, we always say, well, listen, in Champions League, you don't lose your away games and you win your home games. Who are us to think that that's not how Villarreal think? And they know that we're under pressure. They know that once they could come to Old Trafford and frustrate us, we'll start to panic. We may try to force it, and that's when they'll get it on us. Right? And they will be happy going back home to Spain with 1 point. While we need for our pride to win because we didn't get the results in our first game. So a lot's weighing against us going into this game, and the pressure is mounting on Oli. But as Jody said, for some reason or the other, when this kind of pressure is on, Oli just get the boys. I don't know where he just tell them. I don't know why he can't tell them it on a regular basis. But wherever he just tell them, he just get a response. So I am hoping for that response because this is my team. I love them. I ain't want to lose no more. I ain't want to get no more back pain. I ain't want Phil to lose no more hair. I ain't want nobody to get grades.
Why must we lose a game or draw a game to get a response? Can't we be consistent every single game?
Probably,
Why?
I don't even know if Einstein could be able to figure that out, Phil. You understand? And he dead how long?
Right? I'm done with this coaching stuff. I'm done, man. I'm done.
But I want to close with a statement, guys. Right? Ollie has to be careful, right? And I would have mentioned this to Nico and I think Phil as well. Ollie has to be careful that the dressing room doesn't turn on him, right? Because you have some egos in your dressing room, I think, and we had mentioned it before, the fact that you have these top quality players, these big players, it now mounts the pressure on you to get results and to make these fellas, interested and excited about the project at Man United. Not only in theory, but in the practical aspect, seeing the game played out. And if these things continue, Ronaldo has to protect his pride. Ronaldo can't be ghosting games and be happy with it. He wouldn't be happy ghosting games because today I didn't see Ronaldo. Did Ronaldo get a shot on goal? And if Oli is not careful and he loses the dressing room, he might as well pack his bags and honorably leave. Because the last thing you want is for this team to stop believing in you, right? That's not a good place to be, right? And if these things were to continue, trust me, Ronaldo will start to talk. And once Ronaldo talk, them players gonna listen. Hey, this man I know what he doing, boy. This man can't have me out on the field running my tail off and I can't even get a shot on goal. You understand what I'm saying? Because it'll come back to the manager. That's just how it is. Right? The player's supposed to be out there following the manager's instructions. Right? Now, so all they could do one or two things. Or they could be ruthless. And when I say ruthless, I mean toward his own coaching staff. Right? And say, well, listen, for me to make this as a manager, Carrick, McKenna, feeling it was nice, but I need to protect myself, right? And where I really want to see this club going. Because as far as I'm concerned, guys, I like Ollie. I like how he represents the club. I like how he protects the club, how he protects the players. I like that about Ollie. And he always says he don't get involved in the coaching, he'll be there, he'll supervise, whatever, but the day-to-day actual getting his hands into the coaching thing, he don't do that. Right? So he could make the right decisions to ensure that his interest is protected so that the players don't turn against him. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how ruthless Ollie is. Right? We could talk about being ruthless in selling players, but you don't have no excuses anymore. You have a very, very good team. And even though your midfield mightn't be the ideal midfield, you have enough to do better than what I'm seeing here. Right? Again, the last word to anybody who wants it. And then we wrap it.
Based on what you said, Reem, right? We live in such a reactive society outside of football. Doesn't matter if it's job, politics. We live in such a reactive society, right? And a loss will have the fan base saying automatically and safely Ole out, right? That may trigger and that may trickle down to the players as well too, right? Because at the end of the day, like you just mentioned, Ronaldo, 36 years of age, has to protect his legacy, right? And he doesn't want to look like a fool rejecting Juventus and Manchester City and coming back to Manchester United to not win any trophies, right? I'm telling you straight up right now, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does not get a W versus Villarreal, I don't know. The board will probably say respectfully, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you have one of two options, right? We can ask you to make a statement to the public and say you're resigning, or we will tarnish your legacy and say that the board has fired Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? Because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is more expendable than those three fools, Carrick, Felon, and Kenna. He's more expendable than those guys, right? But Reem, can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be ruthless? And that is a massive question mark. And I'll end it there. Done with this coaching staff.
If no other person wants the last word, then we can wrap it this evening. All right. So yeah, good, Greg.
Yeah, all I'm gonna just say is this: is like I share Phil's sentiments because this is a kind of a make or break period right now, and it's gonna be hard to look past it if it's become a downward spiral that continues. Because now, like you said, he has no excuses. He has the tools to do what he needs to. Granted, he didn't get the DM, but this squad is still good enough to get the results required. If it gets to a point where you see us dropping off in the league and we get to a point where it's going to be we're hanging on in the Champions League by a thread, then the hammer's going to drop. That's all I can say.
Yeah, yeah. Nico, you want to jump in quick?
Nah, again, tough times, tough day at the office, and my thing is, I don't know, how it will turn around. That is my thing. I'm not seeing how it will turn around. It's not like you have a bad day or you had two bad days, but you still see something that you could hang on to. I see nothing I could hang on to now. So yeah.
Yeah. Anderson?
Like I said, a win. That's what they need on Wednesday. A win. Regardless, let's get a win. I mean, a good performance would be nice, but just get the win. Just get the victory. That is all. You worry about the next game, but just get the victory. Because that is all you need.
Yeah, yeah. Guys, thanks again for joining the review. I do appreciate, the comments, the shares, the likes. Greg, Big Phil, Anderson, thanks for coming on, guys. And I know Nico, the sacrifice you're making out there, though. And for Man United to just come and do this kind of rubbish now. Anyway, we hope that Wednesday will be a better one. We hope that we could still smile in the midst of adversity and rubbish. So let's see what those guys do. Let's see how them fellas respond on Wednesday, and let's hope we could come here and be positive and look forward to better and progress and stuff like that. So have a good night, everyone, and see you all on the next one.